top of the morning, and it is a beaut.
And the hope of the Irish as the future champion of the world.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio.
Welcome to the Barry J. McDonald podcast. The place where dreams get dusted off and acted on. Because life is too short. We're living on a rock that's flying through space, and hey, what the hell else were you going to do with yourself here?
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode. Now let me ask you, do you use the power of repetition on yourself or in your business? Now if you don't, you might maybe reconsider that when you listen to this podcast episode. Now, on yourself, the power of repetition is really powerful. Now at the moment I'm reading a really great book which is called What to Say to Yourself When You Talk to Yourself. Now the author, I think his name is Shad Helmstetter, says at one point in his book that repetition is a convincing argument. Now I'm sure you probably are well aware of repetition because, you know, when you switch on your TV, you are just bombarded with advertisements that kind of drum in the same message over and over again. You know, it's come to a stage now that even, you know, McDonald's have a jingle that they know if they, you know, hit your brain enough times with that jingle that you won't even need to hear the message. The jingle will be enough to fire up whatever thoughts or whatever messages they have, you know, buried deep in your subconscious mind. Now in the book, the author says that a lot of us are where we are because of the repetition that we've had in the past. You know, maybe the repetition of maybe bad parenting, you know, people saying to you that you were never talented, never good looking, never would amount to anything. And for a lot of us, you know, when we're really young and don't really have the mental strength to fight off those kind of arguments, all that kind of information goes deep into our subconscious mind. And if we're looking to make any changes to our results, how we feel about ourselves, you know, to build our confidence, build our self-esteem, we need to rework our programming in our subconscious mind. And that is only going to come through repetition, where you drum a powerful message into yourself over and over and over again. Now that's something I'm doing at the minute because I know that where I am right now, the actions that I'm taking, how I feel about myself, has a lot to do with what is deep in my subconscious mind. So what I'm doing at the moment is I have my phone. I have recorded a message to myself, all these different positive affirmations, how I'd like to feel about myself. And basically I reprogram myself a couple of times a day. You know, when I'm out walking first thing in the morning, I have an app that replays that messages over and over on a loop. And I'll probably listen to that for about half an hour or so when my day starts. And again too, at the end of the evening, I'll listen to it again for maybe another half an hour. And sometimes during the day, if I go for a little snooze on the sofa or whatever, I'll simply just put in the earbuds and listen to those messages again while I'm sleeping. So it's building up my self-esteem and, you know, undermining some of that negative programming that I have in my mind. So if you maybe want to try or are trying to maybe change your results, have a look at how you feel about yourself, or just listen to yourself. You know, some of the negative programming, sometimes we're surprised when a thought comes to us, or we have a memory of maybe something that happened in school or some comment that was made to us, and it almost feels like that comment was made today because it's so strong in our mind. And for you to improve, you're going to have to break those down. You're going to have to rewrite the system. It's almost like a computer hard drive. You know, you have a lot of viruses, a lot of mind viruses on your hard drive that you need to erase, you need to upgrade, and you need to put a better program on it. So if maybe you are trying to do something like that, I would highly recommend using the power of repetition on yourself. You know, grabbing your phone, grabbing the record app, and just, you know, record a series of positive messages, and then just maybe if you can find an app, or maybe if you can do it on your phone, replay that to yourself regularly. Because what I found was that, you know, for a long time I used to wake up first thing in the morning and I used to pick up the same argument or the same thoughts I would have the night before. You know, if I was worried about money, that was usually the first thing come into my head. I would carry on that, you know, that loop, that kind of mindless chatter of, oh, you're broke, or you've got no money, or this sale didn't happen, or this didn't work, and that didn't work. And the following day, even though it was a brand new day, It wasn't really a brand new day because I was just carrying on the same thoughts as I had the day before. But I've noticed this past couple of weeks, as I've kind of starting to reprogram my mind, I'm finding that those messages aren't as loud as they used to be. And some of them that aren't even there anymore because I'm just forcibly, trying to drive as many positive messages into my head as possible. So give that a go if you are maybe feeling, not too hot right now, maybe lacking confidence and not feeling so positive about yourself. Try that out and try and drum in as many of those positive messages on a daily basis as you can so that it starts to drown out all the negative self-talk that you have in your head. Now, go into your business. Having repetition in your business is really, really powerful because you can transform how your customers and your readers or your followers, think about you. There's a new series that has been shown over here in the UK on one of the TV channels, and you probably know Kenneth Branagh, but Kenneth Branagh is playing the part of Boris Johnson. Now, it's a 6-part series, but I just watched a part of the first episode there the other day, and it's amazing how politicians, drive home a message through repetition. Now, at the time when the first episode is kind of filmed, Boris Johnson has just kind of delivered Brexit. Britain has voted to leave, but there is a long kind of ongoing problem with them finally breaking free of it. There's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of all different guidelines and all different laws and things that need to be changed. And it just seems to be dragging on and on and on. And the UK public is just really disappointed. They're getting angry that they haven't broken away from EU. And Boris, in his wisdom, again, probably with some of his spin doctors, working in the background, have come up with this great slogan, which is get Brexit done. Now, I'm sure if you live in the UK, I'm sure you probably have heard him rabbit that over and over again. And in the episode, it shows kind of clips of him on TV saying, get Brexit done. And in the papers, it's get Brexit done. And any interviews he does, his catchphrase is always get Brexit done. Because he's drumming into his, into the public's mind that he is going to get Brexit done, or we need to get Brexit done. And it's just, rehearsed and said over and over again. Now, I don't know where you are, but I'm sure whatever political parties are in charge of your country or the other party that's trying to get into power, they are constantly drumming into your head, those kind of negative or those positive messages over and over again, or whatever they thought they want to, drum into your head. So it's all repetition, repetition, repetition. Now, for some of these politicians, maybe they need to say it so many times that eventually they'll believe it themselves, and then eventually it's just convincing you that they know what they're doing. So going back to your business, when it comes to repetition, having something like that in your business where maybe it's a catchphrase, where you're constantly repeating it, that as Shad Helmstetter says, repetition is a convincing argument. And if you hear a message so many times, you will eventually not question it, you'll accept it as the truth. The great Brand Settle said one time that, if you are looking to stand out from the crowd, if you're looking to separate yourself from everybody else, give yourself a title. Now, a lot of us believe that you need to go to college, you need to go to university, you need to have diplomas to have a title, but you don't really. You could be giving yourself a title right now. I could put a title on myself saying that I am the Irish expert on email. I could sign off all my emails with that title. Barry McDonald, Irish email expert. And the people on my list, if they see that enough times, and if I mention that enough times in the podcast, eventually they are going to convince themselves that I really am an email expert. Now, compared to other people, I mightn't be as great an expert. But people will start, using that title on you when they are maybe introducing you or referring you on. They'll say, that's Barry McDonald, he's the Irish email, expert. I even see it on the great Joe Vitale. The great Joe Vitale always refers to himself as Mr. Fire. Now, he says that other people have given him that title, but I don't know. He might have given it to himself. So when you see Joe, you'll probably see him, sign off his blog posts or sign off his podcasts, whatever, always using the kind of title Mr. Fire. Again, it doesn't really mean anything. But I'm sure when you think about it, Mr. Fire, it sounds like somebody who is on top of his game, somebody who is full of energy, someone who's fully inspired, who's working on the goals. it builds up an image in your head, and you can use that as well too. So I would recommend, using the power of repetition, not only on yourself, but also on your business. Give yourself a title. You could be maybe Utah's greatest fiction writer, or you could be whatever it is. You could be the queen of colouring books, or low content, or whatever it is. You could be, give yourself whatever title it is, and give it to yourself. And as I said, if you use it often enough, not only will your audience start to believe it, but you'll probably start to believe it yourself. You'll start to believe that you are the email expert, or that you are the queen of fiction in Utah, or you are the king of low content books, or whatever. And you may find that maybe subconsciously it makes you look at your business in a different way, that you take on new actions, and maybe you believe in yourself a little bit more because you have this title, and you feel that if I have this title, well, then I better live up to this title. So you'll probably take maybe better action until eventually you are seen as maybe the email expert, or whatever title you've given yourself. So try that out in your business, but I would recommend that if you are, not feeling the best right now, not maybe getting results that you would like, or you just think that, your self-esteem and your self-confidence could do with a boost right now, grab your phone and record some messages and replay them over regularly. And again, as I said, repetition is a convincing argument. If you hear those messages often enough, your subconscious mind will believe that they are true, and then you will probably find that results will change, you'll feel better about yourself, and you'll start making great strides on your business. So try that out today, not only on you, but also in your business. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Before you go, Barry would like to give you a free copy of Words to Wealth. In it, he's going to show you 10 ways to make money from writing. Head on over to writecome.com now for your copy. Have a great day and come back soon.